to see this interview on NIMET flooding prediction and way forward, because flood did a number in states in Nigeria, especially Lagos State. People living around Alakwere, Kushofe local government area and the island, they are still counting their losses. So let's go to this report.
I put the blame at the foot of the government. This is the Lagos that is presented to us by particularly the federal government of Nigeria, now headed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as a shining example of how he successfully ran his state, and that in his manifesto, and even to today, his major crusading point is that he can also turn Nigeria around, just the same way they have turned Lagos around. Despite these, their triumphalistic assertions, as they say, when rains fall, the secret of Lagos become revealed. All streets became flooded, culverts overflew, and even cars were stuck in waters. It was even a very better fit for the people on the mainland. Save and except for the fact that there was a traffic gridlock in most part of the mainland because of the flooded part of the road. For those living on the island, particularly in the axis of Etiosa, Ibejuleki, up towards Ekpe city, it is a total horrible situation. Don't forget that by the statistics of the International Union on Conservation of Nature, that axis of that the IUCN, that axis is about 3 meters below sea level. So, in fact, many people had woke up in the middle of the sea without not being like Peter or in the Bible. They were walking on water without any anointing by Jesus Christ. So now what we have discovered is that the total absence of infrastructure, basic infrastructure, especially for people in that Etiosa, Ibejuleki axis, most apart from that Golden Highway that they consulted with about, according to them, about 10 billion naira. That's the Lekki Ekpe Expressway. There is little or no other inner roads for those people, and they don't have access. Most of the covers are not well built, nothing. So they are at the mercy of nature. And when nature gave way yesterday, they had nothing but tears in response. You know that obviously this is a consequence of climate change and global warming, and by virtue of the Kyoto Protocol on climate change, naturally countries, that protocol is an international treaty that was signed years back to say that countries like Nigeria, developing countries like Nigeria in Africa, need to depend less on fossil fuel, and they should reduce their emissions of greenhouse gases. Unfortunately, we all know that Nigeria today is a fossil fuel, even extracting and exporting country. Petroleum is just basically fossil fuel. It's extracted from fossil fuel now, and there is no abatement of gas flaring. So now put to answer your question directly, there is no letting down on the part of the Nigerian federal government to stop fossil fuel extraction. In fact, one of the major sing-song of this administration is the Dangote refinery, and we cannot mention Dangote refinery because that is the masterpiece, the FDFs, that is being exhibited as a glorious success of public-private partnership of the richest African man in Africa, the richest in Africa, helping the rest of us in Nigeria from transforming from a country that has no refinery to a country that will now have a petrochemical refinery for the first time. Now, what are the implications? The implications are that Dangote refinery is going to also continue the same gas flaring, which is emission of greenhouse gases. Already, the situation of things in the Ibejuleki is already more or less like you are reenacting the Niger Delta. Now, when that refinery comes into operation in a city like Lagos, we are going to have, compared to what happened yesterday, is going to be 300% escalation because number one, the movement of fuel of refined fuel is not by pipeline, it's still by truck. So even from Berger or Telela Bridge, that will be a contraction of traffic. Now, inwards into Lekki itself, that with a narrow highway, most Lekki is going to become the next Apapa, as they are sending houses in Apapa now due to the ancestral traffic in that axis of Lagos for peanuts. Most of the houses being sold in Lekki now that come and close to the ocean. No? Like I said, that wood Kinikon luxury, this one luxury estate, all those funny names they give those estates will be sold for peanuts too, because Lekki is going to become the next chaotic phenomenon. Now, towards Ibeju Lekki, you are going to have an ecological and environmental disaster, because Etios and Ibeju Lekki, as I've told you, is below sea level. They are just those two constituencies are just environmental and ecological disaster waiting to happen. There is no foresighted planning now to even evacuate the people living in Etios and Lekki, possibly to places on red earth, Epe and beyond. And within the regional approach to all these things, if you have just at the backyard of Lagos and Ogun State that has a massive land, a land mass that can accommodate even 10 times of the population of Lagos, there is no concerted approach by Lagos and Ogun State government to embark on massive housing program to bridge the housing deficits. Nothing like that. So the future is nothing but pessimistic at that level. Okay. Don't forget that just recently Lagos declared a cholera outbreak, and that cholera outbreak, according to the statistic released by the Lagos State Ministry of Health itself, Etiosa local government is the highest. In fact, according to that same statement by the Ministry of Health, Etiosa local government area was the origin of that cholera outbreak. Now followed by Kosofe local government area. Now, if you look at those statistics, most of Etiosa itself is one of the showpiece local governments in not only in Lagos State but in Nigeria. Lekki phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 is being painted especially by property speculators as where you can enjoy luxury. So if this privately created paradise are the places where cholera broke out, you can now imagine what will be the fate of people living in informal settlements like Agege local government area, like Ikeja, not Ikeja of Ikeja Jere, Podo, all those other places, and all those kind of places. Now imagine what will be the fate of Kosofe local government area. People like what will be the fate of even Ajeromi Felodo, Ajegunle, with all the level of poverty in that area, and then even Amuodofe and the rest of it. So we are living in a mega slum, not a mega city. In fact, according to the world worst living cities to live in the index, the war-torn city of Damascus has better human living indices than Lagos. That's Damascus and Aleppo, which is being ravaged by war as we speak. You have the speed of response to ambulance in the city of Damascus is faster than Lagos. So that's the situation we have found ourselves. We are going to have, if this situation that happened yesterday is not properly handled, cholera, a much more bigger cholera outbreak of unimaginable proportions is on our hands. Way forward, because it's important that we do a very rigorous and realistic analysis, so that we don't also think that we don't give ourselves a rosy image. What is important to be done now is that we need to organize ourselves. We cannot continue to lament and lament that things. Look how it is happening in Kenya. The people in Kenya, having gotten fed up of what was the so-called imposition and anti-poor policies of that government. Africa is rising. As we speak today, places we need a flood of anger on the streets. People need to begin to make demands for environmental justice, for better living, for better wages. Don't forget that minimum wage is still the debacle. The negotiation is in a debacle.